Suddenly, the man realized he had spent 108 days on Mars. He put all his strength into sending this news back to Earth. After a lot of searching, he found an old rover, Pathfinder, which had been sent years ago. So much time had passed that he wasn't sure if it would still work, but the hope of returning didn't let him give up. He powered it on, and the old machine, buried in the Martian soil, slowly started moving. Its signal receiver turned toward a nearby space station, and shortly after, scientists on Earth discovered that Pathfinder was working again. Now, they could connect with the machine. Mark watched as Pathfinder moved on its own, though it was very old. The distance between Earth and Mars was so great that sending and receiving a message took half an hour. That's when Mark realized he was connected to the Space Center on Earth. He returned to the base and hung up boards with simple words written on them in front of the camera. Half an hour later, people on Earth were thrilled to see the pictures. They could only rotate the camera to respond, but at least contact had been established. To speed things up, Mark came up with a clever trick. He planted boards with letters at a short distance around Pathfinder. Earth scientists would rotate the camera to select letters, and Mark would read them, but it was very slow. A single sentence could take hours. Eventually, the scientists found a solution. Within a few days, they taught Mark to reprogram Pathfinder, connecting it directly to his communication rover. Now, conversations flowed without interruption. Everyone was amazed at Mark's courage, but they had to tell him the truth. He would have to survive alone on Mars for 4 years until the new Ares 4 mission could reach him. Mark had plenty of potatoes, enough to last about a year. The Space Center promised to send a rocket that would keep him alive for the full 4 years, but fate had other plans. That night, while Mark was in the lab, a pressure section failed. The already damaged lab lost balance, and suddenly, a loud explosion occurred. His helmet cracked, and oxygen began leaking. He quickly patched it with tape and saved his life. But as the freezing air rushed in, the lab became covered in ice, and all the potatoes spoiled. Mark reported the disaster to Earth. The situation had become critical. The Space Center sped up the rocket construction. A month later, the rocket was ready. Mark had only 400 days of food left. Without further checks, the rocket was launched. At first, everyone was hopeful that the food would arrive on time. They were happy initially, but soon, strange vibrations shook the rocket. Before anything could be done, it exploded in midair. The hasty launch had failed. By the time a new rocket could be built, Mark would have starved. Everyone was devastated. When Mark received this terrible news, he lost hope of survival. With his food gone, all he could do was wait for death. Then, the Chinese Space Center offered help. They had a secret mission called Sun God, equipped with a powerful booster. Scientists devised a new plan. The Chinese booster would carry food and fuel to the Hermes spacecraft, which was returning to Earth. Then, Hermes would turn back toward Mars. Once Hermes reached Mars's orbit, Mark would exit his flight spacecraft and connect to it. Would you also want to go to Mars and eat potatoes? Comment below and let us know.